Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to discuss the TCS interview question. In this interview, I separated the question that is manual testing question and the automation testing question. Guys, if you like my content, then please like it, subscribe and share my video. Before moving to our section, we I have developed this type of notes and this is contain this type of question answer I have created, and if you like to download this note, please go through my link. I am sharing my link in the description box as well as comment box. So today we are going to discuss the TCS interview questions. There is a manual testing question and the automation testing question. We will see one by one. So the first question is, have you worked in Agile methodology and explain it? So we have to tell them like, yes, I have worked in the Agile methodology. Basically, Agile is a project management and the product development approach that emphasizes flexibility, collaboration, and customer satisfaction. Also, Agile methodology is based on the iterative development where requirement and solution involve through the collaborations of team. So mainly Agile focuses on the delivering value incrementally rather than waiting for a final product. Iterative development means in the Agile, work is broken into a small and manageable cycle. Also, we said that manageable iteration or sprint. Then customer feedback is also point in the Agile methodology that frequent feedback ensure the product align with the customer need. Then there is a collaboration. Collaboration means it encourages the close collaboration between stakeholder and the development team. And one point is come in the agile, that adaptability. Adaptability means agile it changes and allow the team to pivot the based on evolving requirement. And when we discuss the benefit of agile methodology, so it it fast deliver the product, better stakeholder engagement, improve the quality with continuous testing. It has higher adaptability to market changes and it increases the team collaborations and motivation. In this way, we have to tell them the agile methodology and agile methodology work. The next question is, explain the point while you are consider why explain the point that you consider while writing the good test cases. Here first we see that what is the test cases. So test case is a set of specific condition, input, action and expected result to verify whether the software application functions are work according our requirement or not. Means it is a step by step executions of our program, and it ensures it is against our requirement or not. Writing the good test cases is essential to ensure the software quality and to facilitate the efficient testing. While writing the good test cases, we need some point like clarity and the simplicity. Clarity and simplicity means write the test case in a simple, clear and the concise language which avoid the complex and ambiguous statement. Use proper grammar and the structure for easy understanding by tester and stakeholder. Like verify the login page, accept the valid username and password, and redirect to the dashboard. So it is an example that verify the login page, accept the valid username and password and redirect to the dashboard. It is like clearly understand the stakeholder and as for what condition we develop the test cases. So the next point is test case structure. Test case structure means there is some attribute like test case ID, title, precondition, test step, expected result, actual result, what is the status we are getting, and the priority of the test cases. In the test case ID, we have to add a valid unique identifier like this. Then we have to give the title. Title means a brief description of the test cases. If there is any precondition, so also we have to mention in the test case structure. What are the test steps to execute these test cases? What are the expected result? What is actual result? What is the status that it is failure or pass? And what is its priority? The next point is coverage of requirement. So we ensure the test case cover all the functional and functional requirement or not. Functional like UI test cases, API test cases, and the business logic test cases. And the non-functional requirement like its performance, its security, its usability, and compatibility. The other point is a positive and the negative scenario. Positive negative scenario means we have to write the test case to verify both valid and the invalid. Valid means positive test cases and invalid means the negative test cases. Example like for the positive test cases entering the correct credential to log in the successfully, and for negative input entering the incorrect password and expecting the error message. Next point is the test data preparation. Test data preparation means specify the required test data explicitly like username, password, order number, and use realistic divorce data to cover the different edge cases. The other point is reusability of test cases. Reusability means write the modular test cases that can be reused across different test scenario to save the effort and the time. Next point is maintainability and the traceability. Maintainability and traceability means link the test cases to the requirement, like we also call it traceability matrix to track the coverage and update the test cases when the requirement change to keep them in the relevant. And the last is automation suitability. Automation suitability means it ensures the test cases are written in a structured way that can be easily automated or not in the future. It avoids the subjective step like check if the page look good or not. Now we move to the next question. And then next question is what is the bug life cycle? Also it called the defect life cycle. So defect life cycle means it is a process that software bug or the software defect goes through from its initial discovery to its resolution and the closure. So there are the different stages in the defect life cycle like new, assign, open, in progress, fix, and the pending, reset, retest, verified, and the last is a close. So we see the one by one. So now we are seeing the stages of the bug life cycle. So first is a new. New means a bug is identified and logged by the tester, which is relevant to details such as step to reproduce, environment, and the severity. And its status is a new. The second stage is assign. Assign means in this stage the bug is reviewed and assigned to a developer by the project manager, test lead or the development lead, and each status is assigned. As we assign the bug, there is a next stage is open. Open means in this stage the developer start analyzing and working on fixing the defect. In the next stage there is a in progress. The developer actively work on fixing the bug. In the fixed stage means a developer has resolved the issue and mark it as a fix in the code base if it is fixed. And the next stage is pending retest. Pending retest means the fixed bug is deployed in the test environment and waiting retesting by the QA team. And the retest means in this test testing tester verify the fixed bug by executing the same test cases that initially reported the bug. And if the tester confirms that the defect is fixed and no further issue exists, the bug mark is verified. And the last stage is a close. In the close stage, if the fix work as expected and no other related issue occur, the last is a bug is closed. In this way, defect cycle work. Defect cycle means the first stage is new, then assign, open, in progress, fix, pending retest, retest, and the verified and the close. In this way, we have to explain the bug life cycle or the defect life cycle. I hope you guys you all understand this question. In this way, I have prepared the 1000 plus interview question and each answer by combining the all questions from the various platform like LinkedIn and the various website or the various WhatsApp group, and I'm trying to provide its answer. There is a 1000 plus interview question and I have provide its answer to if you if want to download this file, so I am giving the link in the description box as well as the comment box. Now the next question is difference between the test scenario and the test cases. So in this question, first we see what is test scenario and the what is test cases. The test scenario means it is a high level description that what we need to be the tested. And the test cases means it is a detailed document which specify the test step, input and the expected outcome. So now we see the difference between them. Like purpose of the test scenario means it ensure the all functionality of the applications are covered or not, and the test cases is verify the functionality of specific feature. Test scenario means it is a high level description and the test cases means it is a low level description. Uh, Components like of the test scenario like it cover the multiple test cases under one scenario, and the component of the test cases like it include the test case id, step, test data, expected and the actual result and the status as we see in the previous question. And the next is so we can say example of the test scenario like functional and end-to-end testing, and a test case example like unit testing, functional testing and the regression testing. Maintenance wise test scenario is easy to maintain and update, and the maintenance wise in the test cases it require more effort to maintain the frequent changes. Documentation, as we talk about documentation in the test scenario, so it is less detailed and typically described in the test plan, and in the test cases it is highly detailed and maintained in the test case management tool. Now we see the some broad difference, like scope of the test scenario provide a broader perspective of what we need to be tested, and the test cases provide a detailed step-by-step instruction to validate a specific feature. When we talk about its uses, that test scenario help a stakeholder understand the coverage at a high level, and the test cases are used by the tester to execute and validate the feature in a depth. Uh, Example for better understanding, we take for the scenario that is verify the search functionality of a e-commerce website. Means the scenario is verify search functionality, and the test cases example under this scenario means search functionality is a scenario, and under this search functionality there is a test cases like search for product with a valid name, search with a specific character input, search with the empty input, and search with a non-existent product name, like this. Now next question, that when to use test scenario and when to use test cases. When planning high level testing coverage and communicating with stakeholder, we use the test scenario. When there is a detailed execution step are required to validate application, we use the test cases. In this way, I have explained the difference between test scenario and the test cases. I hope you understand this difference. Now moving to the next question. So the next question is difference between the functional and the non-functional testing. We see this different, that is functional testing mean testing what that verify the application's functionality against requirement. It is called the functional testing. And non-functional testing means we have to test the application which evaluate the performance, usability, and the reliability of the applications. Functional testing ensure the system performance in actions correctly or not, and the non-functional testing ensure the system meet performance, scalability, and other quality standard. Functional testing focuses on that what the system does, like feature, its business logic, And the non-functional testing focuses that how the system behave, like its speed, its security, and its reliability. Example of the functional testing is a login functionality, payment processing, and user registration. And the example of the non-functional testing is load times, response time, and the accessibility. Testing technique under the functional testing like black box testing, white box testing, unit testing, and integration testing. Testing technique like performance technique testing, load testing, stress testing, and the security testing is come under the non-functional testing. A tool used for the functional testing like Selenium, JUnit, and the TestNG, and the tool used for the non-functional testing is a JMeter load runner. Now we see the functional testing type. Functional testing type means unit testing, integration testing, system testing, user acceptance testing, and the regression testing. Non-functional testing type like performance testing, load testing, stress testing, security testing, usability testing, and compatibility testing. In this way, we have seen the difference between the functional and the non-functional testing. Functional testing means what should the system do, and the non-functional testing means how well the should the system perform. So we see the one example for the functional testing and one example for the non-functional testing. Functional testing means there is a scenario that tests the login feature. This scenario comes under the functional testing example. And in the scenario like enter the correct username and the password, it's verify successful login. Enter incorrect password, verify error message is display or not. In the non-functional testing example, the scenario come like test the login feature performance. Means it measure the login response time under the 1000 user, and it evaluate if the system can handle 10-second delay gracefully or not. In this way, we have seen the example of the functional testing and the non-functional testing. Also, I explained the difference between the functional and the non-functional testing. Next question is difference between the smoke testing and the sanity testing. First we see what is smoke testing and the what is sanity testing. So smoke testing is like a quick health checkup of the entire application which ensure the most important feature work before deeper testing. Means we have to check the main features is working or not. And the sanity testing is a more focus. We check whether a particular functionality or the bug fix is working correctly or not. Now we see the difference means um, in the smoke testing it check whether the critical functionality of the software is working correctly or not, and the sanity testing is a narrow and focused test verify the specific functionality of bug fix. It is smoke testing is performed early after a new build is received, and the sanity testing is performed after the bug fix or any minor changes. The scope-wise smoke testing is a broad coverage of essential functionality, and the sanity testing has a narrow focus on the specific component. About the test coverage, smoke testing cover all the critical and the major functionality, and the sanity testing focuses the particular areas where changes made. Smoke testing done by the tester or the developer, sanity testing done by only the tester. If the smoke testing fail, the build is rejected and the return to the developer. If the sanity testing fail, the affected functionality needs more fixes. If we take the example of the smoke testing and the sanity testing, so after deploying a new build, tester quickly check the application launches successfully or not, the login functionality works or not, and the navigation between pages is possible or not. And in a sanity testing, the example like after the bug fix related to the checkout process on the tester check means whether payment method work correctly or not, whether order confirmation email are sent properly or not, like this. And now the question is when to use smoke testing and when to use the sanity testing. So when receiving a new build to ensure the critical functionality, that time we use the smoke testing, And when we have to verify the specific fixes or any updation without running the full test, that time we use the sanity test. Now move to the next question, and the next question is, what is SDLC in the software testing? So SDLC means it is a software testing life cycle. So it is a structured approach to testing a software application. It defines as various steps which guide the testing process, and it ensures that all the aspects of the applications are tested effectively and efficiently. The phases of SDLC lie requirement analysis, test planning, test design, test environment setup, test execution, defect reporting, and the test closure. So we see the one by one. The first phase is requirement analysis. In the requirement analysis, we understand and analyze the requirement from the testing perspective. And the activities done in the requirement analysis like review the functional and the non-functional requirement, identify the testable requirement, and invoke the stakeholder like business analyst and developer to clarify the requirements. And what we have to deliverable, that requirement traceability matrix which map the requirement to the corresponding test cases. In the second stage, the test planning, we create the comprehensive plan to guide the testing activity. Activity done in the test planning phase like define the scope of testing, objective, testing strategy, test type, and the test level. Also, we identify the resources requirement like what tool we have to use, what environment we are going to use, and we set the testing schedule and define entry and the exit criteria. Also, we establish here risk management strategy. What we deliverable in the test planning, we made a test plan document which include all the detail of the testing process. Guys, this STLC process is a very important question in the testing interview, because in the in that phases, different phases, there are a lots of question developed. Like first stage is a requirement analysis. So what activity we have done in the requirement analysis, what we get from the required analysis phase, like that. In the second stage is the test planning. So what are the activities done in the test planning, what we get in the test planning. So we get the test plan document which include the all detail of the testing process. So our next stage is a test design. Test design means we design the detailed test case, test script, and the test data based on the requirement. And what are the activity we have done in the test design? So we create the test cases, test scenario, and the script for automation testing. And we prepare the test data for the different test conditions like valid, invalid, boundary condition. And we review the test cases with the stakeholder for the completeness. What we get from this test design phase, so we get the test case document, test script, and the test data. The next stage is a test environment setup. The test environmental setup means we set up the test environment where the actual testing is going to take place. Activities like set up hardware, set up software, network configuration, and other tools which require for testing. It ensures the test environment mirror the production environment as closely as possible, and it also verify the environment is ready for the executions or not. And from this stage we get the test environment report and the configuration details. Next stage is the test execution. In the test executions, we execute the test cases and log the result. And activities like execute the prepared test cases like manual automation test cases, we record the actual result and compare them with the expected result. We log the defect if the result do not match the expected behavior, and we retest after the fix. And what we get from the tech execution phase, we get the test execution report include the result of the test cases that executed on the not, means which test cases are passed or which test cases is failed. And after test execution stage, there is a defect reporting and tracking stage. In this stage, we identify, we report, and track the defect found during the test execution. Activities like log the defect in the defect tracking tool like Jira and the Bug Jira. We categorize the defect based on the severity and the priority, and we collaborate with the development team for the defect resolution. And we track the defect life cycle until closure. And we get from these days we get a defect report and updated defect status. And the last stage of the STLC is a test closure. And in the test closure means it concludes the testing process and find out the result. Activity like analyze the test result, including defect density, test coverage, and pass-fail ratio. It conduct a test closure meeting to evaluate the testing process, prepare and share the test summary report with our team, and we document of this all testing, and we get here test summary report, test closure report. Like that, we done the testing process. I hope you guys will understand this question is very important, because from this question we get a different type of the question. Now move to the next question, that difference between alpha and the beta testing. So in this question, first we see what is alpha testing and the what is beta testing. Alpha testing means it focuses on the internal bug and the core functionality of the system. Also, it helps to identify the major defect and issue that could prevent the software from the functioning properly. And it does not involve in any external user. But in the case of the beta testing, it focuses on the usability, user experience, and the real world performance. It helps to identify that the internal team might have a miss like user interface problem and the performance under load. It provides actual feedback from the user before the official product release. Now we are going to see the difference between alpha testing and the beta testing. So alpha testing is the first phase of the testing done by the developer or the internal tester before releasing the product to external user. And the beta testing is the second phase where the product is released to a selected group of the external user. Alpha testing is conducted by the development team or the any internal QA team. Beta testing conducted by the real user or the selected group of the external user. Alpha testing is performed in a internal environment, but beta testing is performed in the real world environment. Alpha testing is used to identify bug and issue early in the development process, and the beta testing is used to identify its usability, functionality, and the user experience of the real user. It focuses on the core functionality, and the beta testing is focuses on the user experience, usability, and identify issue that we are not detected bug in the earlier phase. Alpha testing is done by the developer, tester, and the QA team, and the beta testing is done by the end user, customer, or any external group. Example of the alpha testing like code testing, functionality testing, system integrations, and the initial usability. And the example of the beta testing like usability testing, feedback survey, error reporting, and the performance testing under different user conditions. In this way, we have seen the difference between alpha testing and the beta testing. Now we are going to discuss the another question, that how many tests you have automated in a single sprint. So in this question, we have to tell the interviewer that how many we automate a test cases in a single sprint. So the number of the test cases that automated in a single sprint can vary a different factor like complexity of the application. For example, for simpler application, automating a large number of tests might be possible, but for the complex applications, we have to done the pure automation test. The next factor is the what type of the test. So if there is a unit test, you are automating the unit test, the number could be high. And if we are automating the integration and end-to-end test cases, so it is a more complex and might take the more time to automate. And if we are going to test the regression test, So auto is regression test automated depend on the scope of the application and the area of the product that being tested. The next point is test automation skill. If the automation team is highly skilled and experienced, so we can automate a more tests in a less time. And also it depend upon the one factor which is also very important. It is a sprint duration. If it's a typical 2 week sprint, the team may aim to automate anywhere from a handful to a dozen or the more tests, depending on the factor. So typical number of sprint means small, for the small scale application there may be the more test cases developed. For the medium to large scale application, we automate a 5 to 15 test cases in a 2 week sprint. If there is a regression suit, so means if we are working on the any established product with a large set of regression tests, we might focus on the automating few high priority test cases. So it depends on the factor like regression suit means typical number of sprint duration, complexity of the test cases like that. Now we move to the next question, and the next question is how you decide which test case to automate or not. So deciding the which test cases to automate is a important part of the test automation strategy. So automating the all test cases is usually not efficient or cost effective. So the first point is test cases that has a high reputations. We take these test cases for the automation. Means the test cases that has a high reputation, we take these cases to automate. So the first point is the test cases that has a high reputations. Like if a test cases is executed frequently, like in the regression testing during each sprint or every code release, we will take these test cases for the automation. The next is the tests that are stable and the reliable. Stable and the reliable means test cases that are less likely to change over time and have a stable behavior. We take these test cases to automation that provide a consistent and a repeatable result. Example like basic functionality test, like the username, registration, search functionality, or the simple form submission. And the another point is the test with high complexity. High complexity means long test cases or the complex test cases that require a lot of manual effort. We take these test cases for the automations. Example like end-to-end scenario like completing a purchase, performing a series of actions, or running a series of the API tests. Next point is test with a large data set. When testing involve a large number of the data or the complex data scenario, we use these test cases to automate. Means it handle the large set of data without any manual intervention. Example like test the performance load testing and the scenario involving bulk data processing. The next point is tests that need to run the across multiple environment. We would take the test cases that need to run across the multiple environment. Means if the application needs to be tested in the multiple browser, multiple device, or the multiple operating system, we take these test cases to automation purpose. Example like cross-browser compatibility, mobile app testing on the different device, or the testing the applications of the different operating system. And the last but main, they're the regression test. Regression test means regression tests are performed repeatedly after each code change to verify it fix or not. So we would like to take these test cases for the automations. And then there is a also other point like critical part or the business critical test cases, like test cases that validate the key feature or the business critical functionality should be automated. Next is the smoke test cases. Smoke tests means basic test to check if the application is stable enough for further testing or not. Then there is a high priority test we can take for the automation. Means test that had a high priority but don't change frequently. That test case is good for the automations. Now the next question is tell me 100% automation possible or not. So the 100% automation is not possible. While automations can increases the efficiency and it reduces the manual testing effort, but there are some limit or challenges to make the complete automations. So better that instead of aiming the 100% automations, we have to balance the approach that prioritize the automations for repetitive, stable, and the high value test cases. Also manual testing for complex and the subjective test cases that perform exploratory usability testing with the help of manual testing. Also continuous review and the maintenance of the test suite. We regularly update and maintain the automation test cases to ensure that they are aligned proper changes in the application. Also we use the automation to complement the manual testing, like we combine the automation and the manual testing for comprehensive test coverage, where automation handles the repetitive and the data heavy tests and the manual testing focuses on the complex scenario. So 100% automation is not possible, but if we use the automations and the manual in a 50-50% way, so it would be the best approach to the testing the application. Now the next question is, what are the important things you would consider when logging the bug? So the important thing when logging the bug report, like um, bug title or the summary. Bug title means the title and the summary of the bug. Also description. In the description we have to give the detailed explanations of the bug. And the next component is the step to reproduce. Step to reproduce means we have to clarify the outline of the step to reproduce the bug. And then last after that there is a expected behavior. Expected behavior means we have to specify what you expected to happen during the test. Actual behavior means we have to describe what actually happened. And also we have there is a component like severity priority, means how the critical bug is to the functionality of the system. This can be categorized like critical for critical severity, high severity, medium severity, and the low severity. Also there is a component like priority. Priority means how urgently we have to work should fix, like work high priority work, medium priority work, and the low priority work. Also we have to include the component like environmental information, like browser version, operating system version, specific version of the application, any configuration detail. Also we have to attach the other component like screenshot and the screen recording. Also we have to use the one component like log or the error message. In this way we have to log the bug. For that we use Jira and the Jira or Bugzilla. So the next question, that where you write the test cases and in Excel or some other tool. So we have to tell them like which tool you are using, like Jira or the Excel. So guys, in this way I have make a this interview question which asked in the TCS interview. Also I have create the notes which contain the 1000+ interview questions, Selenium, and all the interview question is a 2000+ interview question which include Selenium, Java, and the manual also. Also it include the REST assured and the API testing, SQL, May 1 questions, and I am trying. I have provide its answer to this file. And if you want these notes, so please go through my profile. Means I am giving the link is description box and in the comment box also. Now the next question is the what are the bug status. The bug status means deferred, what is deferred bug, what is rejected, what is duplicate bug. So deferred bug means the bug is postponed to a future release due to the low priority, called the deferred bug. Rejected bug means the bug is not valid, means it is duplicate, work as a design, or cannot be reproduced. Also, there is another status like duplicate bug. Duplicate bug means if the same bug has already been reported earlier. Cannot reproduce bug means if the developer tester is unable to replicate the reported issue under given condition. And not a bug means if the reported issue is intended behavior, so it is marked as a not bug. In this way, I have explained the manual testing interview question which asks in the TCS interview. In the next part, I will discuss the automation interview question which asks in the TCS interview question. And the yes, this is only the automation interview question set. Now I have explained manual testing questions. In the next video, I will explain the automation interview question. If you like my content, so please do like, share and the subscribe. And if you want these notes, so I am giving the link in the description box and in the comment box. Please go through link and share any feedback with my video and with any notes. And if you have any questions, so please share this question in the comment box. I will give the reply to um, to all these questions. Thank you guys. Thank you once again. And if you like, please do share and the subscribe. Thank you.